Nothing better encapsulates the decline of our capitalist economic system than what I'm about to describe to you. I'm going to take the example of Kalamazoo, Michigan, a city of about 75,000 people. And in case you're interested in getting more details, which I hope you will, Time Magazine's double issue of January 17th and January 24th of this year carries a good article that gives you an overview of what I'm about to summarize. The problem that Kalamazoo has, like so many other cities, is that corporations and the rich have been able to use their wealth and their power to reduce the amount of taxes they have to pay to the city where they either work or live or have their business. And it has produced the predictable outcome. The cities, deprived of the taxes they could and should get, were corporations and the rich to pay their fair share, have to do what? Well, one of two things or both of them. They either have to shift the burden of taxes on average people, which they usually do, or they have to cut the public services they can provide to the local community because they're not getting that money from the wealthy. And usually most cities do a little bit of both, but they reach a kind of dead end after at least a few years when the mass of people will not tolerate more and more taxes, even if they don't know exactly that it's being shifted onto them because you're not getting the money from corporations and the rich. So now they all, sooner or later, have to cut services. That's why your garbage isn't picked up the way it once was. That's why your schools don't have the kind of budgets they need, your firefighters, your police, and so on. So now comes the unique capitalist solution. The same wealthy corporations and individuals in Kalamazoo, and I'm going to give you their name in a minute, came up with a clever way to take all of this one step further. I'm talking about William Parfett and William Johnston. They're known as the Two Bills in Kalamazoo. They set up something called the Foundation for Excellence in Kalamazoo. Modesty is not their strong suit. And they gave it a lot of money. And they distribute to the city, on average, about $25 million a year in what, here we go, they think they can do to help the city in its difficulties. Well, let's first look at this. Who's William Parfett? Well, he's a longtime executive in the Upjohn Pharmaceutical Company, which merged into something you all now know as the Pfizer Corporation. That's right, the one making millions by overcharging us for all of those vaccines. That's what you want running your town. And the other one, William Johnston, is the owner of the Greenleaf Group, which happens to own the Radisson Hotel in downtown Kalamazoo, don't you know, and other properties there too. So the two richest guys in Kalamazoo avoid paying their taxes, turn around, use the money they didn't pay in taxes to give it to a corporation they own and operate, which can then dole out the money in whatever way they think is appropriate for the future of that town. You know, we have a name for this in American history. It's called a company town. But this time it's just whoever the richest folks are in town. And to cap it all off, the money that they didn't pay in taxes that they give to the foundation that then doles it out to the local politicians to keep them on a short leash, that contribution to that little foundation they set up, that lowers their taxes elsewhere as well. Talk about hustling the system. City after city in America is becoming dominated by a few rich people who have in this way done an end run around any claim for democratic control of our urban areas that anyone could reasonably advance.